Hi, Taurus. So I'm Jody with Soul Purpose Tarot. I live in Carmel, Indiana. If you're new, welcome. If you're old, thanks for coming back. I would love it if you would like or subscribe, comment. Tell me if you like what I do. Tell me if you hate what I do. I am open to constructive criticism because I always like improving my craft. I want to do a better job. I want to do what I can to help people. And if you tell me, or most of you tell me, that I need to change things up, I'll listen. So, this is Taurus. This is going to be the second half of November. Now, if I remember last time, you guys had kicked a really bad habit. So, I'm hoping that you have continued kicking that bad habit, but let's see what things hold for you for the second half of November. We got a celebration coming up. Obviously, Thanksgiving is next week. Today's the 15th, so we've got celebrations coming up. Of course, Thanksgiving. We got Christmas coming up. New Year's Eve, so I can totally see why there would be lots of celebrations. All right, let's take that. So I got 3 cards here. Let's see what's going on. 3 of Swords came up. So I feel, okay, so normally when I look at this, I always think, when it's in the upright position, I always think, you feel like you missed the boat on something, but it was in the reverse position. So that to me tells me that you've had an opportunity that has showed up in your life. You had an, okay, so this is what it feels. It feels like you had an opportunity to have a conversation with somebody and you didn't do it. Otherwise, that would be in the upright position. So you had an opportunity, but maybe you did miss the boat on it. You had an opportunity to have a conversation, a much needed conversation with somebody, and for whatever reason you did not. And the 10 of Wands comes up. So let's think about this. So I feel like there was a lack of confidence on your part. And it almost feels like it has to do with maybe this habit that you kicked. And because you are still fairly new at this habit, somebody came to you and asked you how you did this. Perhaps it was drinking or eating or shopping or gambling or whatever this bad habit addiction was. And they came to you and said, legitimately asked you, how did you do this? And you, 1, didn't know exactly how you did it. And 2, you didn't want to offer any advice because you didn't feel like you had conquered it just yet. So you were very hesitant to be going, you know, it was just like, I can just totally see someone saying, how did you do it? And you were like, blah, 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 you know, and just kind of blowing it off when somebody was actually really curious because they were struggling with that same thing and you were not ready to share that information with them. And that even makes more sense because the Knight of Wands is in the reverse position. So the ideas that you need to be sharing, you know, it's like, I'm not saying you need to be a motivational speaker or anything like that, but if someone comes to you for help because you have overcome something that they would like to overcome, share with them those ideas. It's not going to hurt anything. And be honest with somebody when you tell them, I don't have this figured out just yet. I'm still relatively new. I haven't been drinking for a month. I don't know what's going to happen at Thanksgiving. I don't know what's going to happen when the celebrations come about. I don't know if I'm going to be okay not eating myself silly at Thanksgiving. It's okay to share, and maybe you and this other person can be kind of accountable to each other because you're both struggling with the same thing, and you can help each other if you truly want to overcome whatever this, I don't know, addiction or bad habit was, or whatever. And the three of, that one would, okay, so Three of Wands is like a broken heart to me, but it was not in the reverse. I mean, it was in the reverse position. So if it's not a broken heart, I feel like it's just saying open your heart to people that may be struggling with the same thing and have conversations. If somebody comes to you and wants to have a conversation about it, open your heart and have the conversations. One, it's going to help you and it's going to help them too. There is absolutely nothing wrong with two people who may be struggling with the same thing, struggling together and helping each other. Holding each other accountable is what it feels like. So it's a pretty deep conversation there. Thanks for bringing that up, universe. Let's see. These are Psychic Tarot by John Holland. I just want to pull out some of these and see what might pop up about this situation. Sometimes trying to conquer something that has been a bad habit for a long time is a process. It is a work in progress. Recognize that it is a work in progress and reward yourself when you do something good. Don't beat yourself up so hard when something happens. I feel like this is also a little bit about a spiritual journey because that's the crown chakra. This is a spiritual journey for you, and a new beginning of some sort is coming, but it's not something that's going to happen overnight. I, at one time, kicked the sugar habit, and then I got to the point where I cannot do artificial sweeteners at all. But I also don't want to give up my chocolate and my creamers. So I have brought sugar back into my life intentionally. I just have to be really, really careful about not overdoing it on that because I fully admit that I've had a sugar addiction in my life. So maybe what I am getting ready to do is a bad idea, and in 3 or 4 months, I'm going to be whining that was the worst idea I could have come up with. And maybe I should give up my coffee with the creamer. And maybe I should give up chocolate altogether. That's a sad life, giving up coffee and chocolate. I don't know about you, but I mean, I could probably give up the coffee, but I'm not sure I can give up the chocolate. I thought I'd found something. Lily's chocolate is made with stevia and erythritol. But every time I'd eat that, I would get like this tightness in my chest, like I was getting asthma. And after a while, I finally figured out it's got to be something in the artificial sweetener stuff. Because I would get like this tightness in my chest, and then I would start coughing this crap up like it was like trying to get out of my system. And once I cut all that stuff out of my food intake and drink intake, that stuff went away. So if you guys are running into that, eliminate stuff out of your diet. If you have got some weird health issues going on and you can't figure out where it's coming from, it's probably some sort of food or chemicals in your food that is literally doing it to you. I think that's what's wrong with a lot of people is our bodies are changing, and the normal population doesn't know that if they don't watch stuff on YouTube all the time like I do, and finding out that the bodies are literally being reprogrammed, and they won't put up, our bodies will not put up with the same crap that it used to for years. So, okay. So we're dealing with communication. Someone has come to you to talk to you about whatever habit you just kicked. You're a little bit concerned that the holidays could cause you some problems, and you need to share that with somebody. You need to get that out in the open and share that if you really, really want to keep this bad habit kicked. So foundation and achievements came up. So I feel like that's just saying, you have achieved something. You may take a step back. You've built a foundation on it. You may backtrack every once in a while. Don't beat yourself up. It's okay. Everybody does that. Nobody conquers something that has been a lifelong struggle just like that. It doesn't happen. The next card that came up says trapped in fear. So I feel like you're worried about this. You're worried, whatever issue that you are trying to overcome, you're worried about it creeping back up onto you. And this material harvest came up. I don't know how that fits in. Sorry, guys. Spiritual union. I'm going to have to clarify these two cards because those don't make any sense to me at all. Actually, you know what? Let's just read in the book. I hate reading out of the book. I really do. I hate it when other people read out of the book. That's why I don't usually use these kind of cards, because I don't want to be reading out of the book, but I'm going to have to this time because I've already pulled them. And they didn't make sense to me. So... Sorry I did this to you. Green border. Okay, spiritual union. This card deals with relationships involving an emotional bond. It could, okay. So, this is what I'm getting. Share your struggles with people that you have spiritual bonds with. Family members, good friends, business associates, or partners. So share your struggles with those people that are important to you in your life, that you're afraid that you may fall off the wagon, and have some accountability partners. It's okay to not let the world know. And I'll tell you what, nobody's gonna believe you if you go, I snapped my fingers and I made a decision and I conquered this problem that I've had for years, and poof, it was gone. Very seldom does that happen unless you're a very magical person. So don't try to pull the wool over everybody's eyes and pretend like you've got it all figured out, because nobody's going to believe you, because nobody else ever has it all figured out at once. Material harvest. What did that mean? One of the laws of the universe is what you sow, you reap. This card states that this is your time to reap the harvest you've worked for and so rightly deserve. This last physical card denotes self-mastery, self-sufficiency, independent security, and the art of enjoying what you've strived for. You've done the hard work, learned the lessons along the way, and used them to prosper in all areas of your life. The number 9 also means endings. Not that good fortune necessarily stops, but do honor yourself as you finish up or celebrate the completion of projects. This would be the perfect time to look ahead and use the wisdom you've gained to think about what else you want to achieve. Consider smart investments, ponder ideas that show profitable potential. Congratulations on your success. You've earned it. So you have had some success. Doesn't mean you're not going to have a step back every once in a while. Share with the people, friends, lovers, loved ones, family, or whatever in your life that you've had some success. You would like to keep that success going. And if you feel like you backtrack a little bit, then get up the next day and move forward. All is not lost. So I feel like I'm not a Taurus, and there's nothing in my sign that's a Taurus, but I feel like I need to be listening to this myself. All right, let's see what the numerology cards have to say. So, if anybody has kicked a really bad habit, I would share with me if you're interested. Maybe people making in the comments have had the same thing, and you guys can talk about what you've done to stay on the good instead of the back steps, or what you've done if you stepped back a couple of times and how you got back up on your feet. And, again, this could be any kind of addiction or obsession or bad habit. I mean, good Lord, there's a billion things out there that it could be. If you feel comfortable sharing that, obviously, not everybody does. You know, if you have a porn addiction, you might not want to tell everybody about that. I don't know. All right, numerology cards. What do we got? There's 2. All right, let's take that one. What does, okay. Like, what does the universe have to say right at the moment? Now, see, this is interesting. These are almost all coming up. I don't feel like these ever really need to be in reverse position. Adventure. You have, this is what it feels like. You have an adventure on your hands coming up with the holidays because you've been able to maintain this good habit under normal circumstances, and now it's kind of like the road is starting to get rocky. Change is coming, and you're a little bit freaked out about how you're going to handle things on the next adventure, which I just feel like is a rocky road. Intuition, use your intuition and listen to your soul when it says, don't do that. Don't override what it tells you. Your soul, your higher self, is going to try to help you out here, but it's very possible that you're going to override it. You know, everybody does that sometimes. Physical activity, that could also help relieve some stress and anxiety. Okay, here we go. Thanksgiving and the holidays seems to be coming up in a lot of my readings lately. Holidays stress the hell out of a lot of people. It causes anxiety. It causes you to be in the same room with people that you don't even like. It causes you to fall off the wagon when you've been trying to handle a bad situation, a bad habit, an obsession, an addiction, or whatever. Holidays can send people over the edge. And a lot of times people handle their anxiety by doing the obsessive, addictive behavior. You guys are going to have to be really, really super careful about getting triggered by your family members or work associates or whatever. You know, if you have work parties and maybe you've been drinking in the past and you're trying to stop drinking and everybody else is drinking, these next couple of months from Thanksgiving until New Year's Eve is going to be an especially delicate time for you guys. So you're going to have to really, really keep an eye on things. And again, don't beat yourself up if you fall off the wagon of whatever you're trying to improve on. January 2nd, January 1st, you get back and you start all over again. And then maybe next year you do a little bit better than you did this year. It's a process. Keep that in mind. It's a process. Synchronicity, I have absolutely no clue what synchronicity has to do with this. If you understand it, let me know. And change. So you're going to have to change your old behavior, your old habits, and so you don't end up falling into the same trap that you did in the past. I mean, that makes sense to me. And I think that goes back to use your intuition. If your intuition says, you know what? It might not be a good idea if you do that. Listen to your intuition and make the change instead of doing what you normally would have done in the past. Nope, I want to use these this time. These would be cards from your higher self, oversoul, past loved ones, guides, anybody in the universe that has any last minute words of advice for this situation. I'll say situation that you find yourself in. Creating heaven on earth is happening. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? I feel like that. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? I feel like this could come up over the holidays, is that you may want to fit in with everybody else and not be upfront about, hey, I don't eat that anymore. I don't drink that anymore. I don't go to the casino anymore. I don't do this anymore, because you don't want to rock the boat and you don't want to look like odd man out. Don't dim your light. Be who you are. If you're making changes, make the changes and feel proud of that. Don't try to fit in with the crowd. That's what gets more people into trouble than anything, is trying to fit in with the crowd because they don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. So I do feel like a lot of you guys are probably stressing out about these holidays coming up. I understand. I have friends that are stressing out about some holiday stuff, so because they don't want to spend some time with particular family members. It happens. What lights you up? So if you, if you're excited about the changes you've made, talk about that when you get in your groups of people. I'm sure there are other people out there that are trying to make similar changes, and you might just be you might be flabbergasted at some of the interesting conversations you could get into about your new changes in lifestyle, and be honest and get the ego out of the way and be proud of the accomplishments that you have incurred. I don't know what word I'm looking for there. So anyway, I will see you guys December 1st. Good luck at Thanksgiving. Let me know how you did. If you are one of the ones that are making big changes in your life, again, I would love to know what you're doing. And I'll see y'all later. Thanks.